welcome to this week's episode of TRUUU Podcast. I'm your host, Drea.
And I'm your host, Alex.
And we have a fun episode for you this week. We have what I'd like to assume is going to be like a recurring episode topic. Basically, we're going to be ranking things.
Yeah, random rankings.
Yeah, so we've had some recurring segments over the past, which we haven't gone back to recently, like our movie analysis or our like spooky stories, but we are planning to go back to them, so don't think we won't. But this one hopefully will also be like a recurring one where we choose certain topics and we rank what the best thing in those topics are.
Right.
But before we get to that, let's do our week updates. Alex, how's your week?
So I got some whammies for you. Okay, so here's the thing, right? So like there are certain like ingredients for like food and stuff in my house that like I could always count on being there. You know, food staples that you just always have, so you never really think about like, am I missing this or whatever?
Sure. Oh, yeah. Okay,
so this came into play for me. So this came into play for me the other day when I was under a time crunch and I needed to bake some brownies.
Okay.
So, you know, I preheat the oven, put some cooking spray in the pan and whatever, and then I start, you know, preparing. So put the mix in the mixing bowl. The first thing I put in is water, and then you're supposed to put an oil next, like vegetable oil. So I go over to my cupboard, open it, look in the vegetable oil section of the cupboard. There is no vegetable oil there.
That's a kind like run out of.
Exactly. You would just always have something like that on you, like in your house. It's a pretty normal thing. It's always been there in my house. Like I never felt like we've ever been out of it.
Right.
But anyway, so like I go around the corner to where my mom is and just kind of like, am I blind or like, do we not have any? Because like it's entirely possible that my mom has reorganized the way things are in the pantry. Right. If that happens. So I'm just like, well, are we like out? So, you know, she's like, oh, well, is it over here, like in this different area? And it wasn't. So we were just out. So I had to book it over to the store and grab some vegetable oil. But then I also just grabbed some more brownie mix because I'm just kind of like, it's just sitting there with a little, because it only needs a quarter cup of water. So just sitting there with this little bit of water that's probably just absorbed into the mix now. So it's like not even usable anymore. So I'm just like, well, I'm just going to grab more brownie mix because, you know, I'm going to need to toss the other one probably. And so I get back home. I literally only have time to like bake it and let it set for 10 minutes before like I have to do my next thing. And so I start the whole thing over, dump out what's already in the mixing bowl. I put the next brownie mix in, put the water in, put the vegetable oil in, go to my refrigerator to get one egg, a single egg, and we're out of eggs.
Oh my God, that happened to me too. I'm sorry, continue your story and then I'll add my analysis.
So I'm like, at this point in time, because I literally have no more time to go back to the store, I'm so mad.
You should have looked up on Pinterest like how to make vegan brownies because then you don't eat the egg.
For me, vegan things are joyless things.
Oh my God. They're not even bad. Okay.
No offense, man, but it's not my deal. But anyway, so like in a fit of desperation, I call up my older brother because he lives 5 minutes down the street basically from
You're like, I need an egg.
Essentially, yes. So he picks up and my brothers and I don't call each other. So it's already noteworthy to him that I'm calling. So he's just kind of like, hello? Because, you know, the natural question in his voice, like, why are you calling me? So I was kind of like, well, you know, what are you doing? Are you at home right now? And he's like, no, me and Amanda are in Upland. We're picking up some food. Which, by the way, going all the way to Upland to pick up food when you live in Chino is kind of like a mission.
I mean, is it like a particular food? Like, is it that pasta place that's over there?
I have no idea. I didn't ask what it was because in that moment I was just too like upset to be like, so where are you guys eating right now?
Makes sense.
So he's like, oh, sorry. Well, he first of all thought the story was hilarious. And I'm just kind of like, it is funny, but in that moment it was very not funny.
You're like, shut up.
Right. So, and then I was just like, well, maybe I'll just call, you know, my twin brother and sister-in-law and see if they have anything. And I call Ashley and I get sent straight to voicemail.
Okay.
Which I found out later, like she had tried to answer, but she said the call went away. So I think that she might have accidentally pressed the wrong button. But because it's so rare that we call each other, my brother told her, she's like, oh, that was probably just like a mistake. She probably didn't need to call you.
You're just like, I just need one egg.
Yes. So at that point, with no real time left to, you know, like bake it because it takes 45 minutes to bake, I just tossed a second thing of brownie mix into the garbage.
Oh my God, that sucks.
I was so upset.
That sucks. That same exact thing happened to me like not a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to make brownies and then, well, here's the thing. The difference for me was like I checked really quickly that I had all the ingredients and I did. But then when I went to get the egg, like part of me was just like, I should check the expiration date on these eggs. And they like expired like December of last year. And I was like, that's not going to work.
No.
So then I went to the refrigerator in our garage because we, you know, like we have roommates and so they use the one in their garage. And I was like, let me just see if I could just use one of their eggs. And then their eggs had expired in like January. I'm like, why does everyone in this house have expired eggs right now? And so luckily, in my situation, I live 1 minute from a grocery store. So I like zipped over there and back like so quick. So I was able to like remedy the situation. But like, I understand that frustration of like, God dang it.
I was like a second away from like trying to hit up my neighbors, which I don't really have any relationship with my neighbors, but also I feel like this is not like the time to like, hit up your neighbors.
Hey. Yeah, seriously.
I know that you don't know me and this is during COVID, but can you give me an egg?
My gosh.
I was pretty heated about that. So Pi Day is actually my brother's birthday.
Oh, okay. Happy late birthday.
So this year he turned 30, which, you know, the big 30 for most people, that's kind of just like weird. Mm-hmm. And my whole theme with my brothers is mostly to get them cards to make them laugh.
Okay.
With my parents, it's to make them cry. With my brothers, it's to make them laugh. Fair. And my whole thing with Matt for years now is I like to get him cards that insinuate that he's old.
Okay.
So like I've already gotten him a 100th birthday card.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of like, I feel like 30 is my last chance to really make him feel old, because after that, I'll basically be 30. And then what's there really to make fun of anymore? Because we're just both, you know, older.
I love how you're going to turn 27 and like,
no, I'm going to turn 28.
Oh my God. Ew. You're right. I was going to make a joke. Like, I was going to be like, you're turning 27. You already consider yourself 30. But then, oh my God. Ew. You're turning 28. That's so nasty.
Yes. Thank you.
I mean, I'm right behind you. Like, I'm about to turn 27.
You're about to turn 27. I'm going to be turning 28, but whatever.
Yeah, but you're turning 28 at the end of this year. It's not like you're turning 28 tomorrow, you know?
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, so I'm just kind of like, this is my last opportunity to like really get him, you know, and your old birthday card. And you'll actually really appreciate what I did.
Okay.
Because I made his birthday card myself.
Ooh.
So I've been thinking about this plan for like a year now. Like I've been really pondering what I should do to really nail in like the last joke about this.
Yeah.
And what I did was I took some pictures from The Lord of the Rings, actually.
Ooh, okay.
So, you know, in the Fellowship of the Ring, in the very beginning, like Gandalf like goes over to Bilbo's house and sees him for the first time basically since The Hobbit, I think.
Right.
And their exchange is really funny. And that's actually what I used on his card. So on the front of the card is, you know, after Bilbo like storms out of his house thinking that his relatives are, you know, badgering him about his birthday or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he sees that it's Gandalf and like, you know, they hug and whatever. And Gandalf says, 111 years old, I can't believe it. You haven't aged a day. So on the front, it's 111 years old. I can't believe it. So it's like literally the screenshotted picture of him hugging Bilbo and saying that. Uh-huh. And then the next frame of who would believe it. And then on the inside, it's the next scene, the next, frame, which is you haven't aged a day.
That's funny.
So that's what I made. That was his card. And
that's
I'll tell
cute.
You what, because, you know, obviously since I homemade this card, like it was on, you know, regular like cardstock paper and I don't have a envelope for it.
Okay.
Which feels a little bit tacky to not have an envelope for a card.
I mean,
I know. But anyway, so I ended up like Googling how to make an envelope.
Oh my God. Okay.
And I made it.
This is turning into like a project for real.
Yeah, it was made out of like, because the cardstock that I had, because we also have colored cardstock, so that's what I used, but it wasn't like big enough proportions for it. So like I had to tape 2 pieces of cardstock together to like get it to be the right size. Mm. So I made that. And on the back of the envelope, I wrote a little note saying, because I just taped the whole thing together. Mm-hmm. And I wrote on the back, I'm just kind of like, don't mind all the tape. This is a homemade envelope.
Your brother's like, okay.
He thought it was really funny. He's just like, man, I wasn't expecting this, because like he knows that this is like the rolling like joke that I have with him. So he like, I saw him 2 days before He's like, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what you're going to do for, this year, because this is the last time you're doing it, right? And it's like, yep, this is the last time.
That's kind of sad, like end of an era.
I mean, I imagine I could roast him when he turns like 50 or something.
Yeah, 60. I feel like 60 is the over the hill, right?
Yeah, I mean, because like what I told them all yesterday, I'm just kind of like, well, what, birthday after that really makes you feel old,
Mm-hmm.
I guess 50 would probably be the next one, maybe. But anyway, so I did that, and I thought that was pretty funny. I felt really good about my project there. And one thing that you will appreciate, and Danielle, if you're listening, one thing she'll appreciate is that I ordered myself a comfy.
Oh my gosh, we all appreciate that. Join the club. You're the only girl at paint nights who doesn't have a comfy.
I know.
Join the club.
But because like here's my whole thing. Like even when it's not even that like cold, if I'm like in the house, I like to have like sweatshirts on and stuff.
Yeah.
Not because I think it's cold or anything, just because I like to be comfortable.
Absolutely.
I like to feel
comfy.
Yeah, I like to feel swaddled. So I'm just kind of like, well, this is probably going to help me out in the wanting to feel cozy department.
100%.
So I'm going to surprise my mom with it because I think that really she'd probably like it a lot because she's always cold.
Oh yeah, she'll definitely like it. That thing is warm.
But I imagine my dad sees it. He's going to be like, what the heck is that?
It's for comfort. You wouldn't understand.
Just like a gigantic sweatshirt that's Sherpa lined. But anyway, so it's actually kind of funny because at paint night, I was on the Comfy website, like as you guys were talking.
Perusing
the different options that they had, but they were sold out of black. So like they have a like notified me when this is back in stock thing, which by the way, more retailers should have on their products.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like you'd actually get people to come back to buy it. Because
instead of
that's exactly what happened. I got an email today from the Comfy store, and it's like, oh, the black is back in stock, and I just clicked on the thing and I bought it.
That's a quick restock.
I know, right?
Wow. Well, I love the comfy. And I also, speaking of paint night and buying things, I bought the easel.
You bought the easel?
I bought the easel and I bought a set of paintbrushes like you have because I'm tired of using like these community paintbrushes.
I probably should get the easel, especially since our paint nights are a lot bigger than they used to be, I feel like. Mm-hmm. Like when it was just you and I doing things, now it's like a whole group of people, so it's harder to have space to really put your canvas down.
I totally think it's worth it. And it's only $20. So like, why not?
Yeah, I'll probably do that. But anyway, so how was your week?
My week was okay. It was really busy because like we had that event that like we were leading up to for work. Went really well. But something that was interesting that happened to me today, actually. So I usually buy lunch for me and my sister because we work together and da-da-da-da. So we decided to get Panera. And so I have like the mobile app. So I placed my order on Panera. And the thing is that like Panera's mobile app, they give you this option to like place a new order or to reorder. And then if you reorder, like you can choose things you've ordered in the past, right? Mm-hmm. And so since I have obviously ordered from them before, and for my sister, I placed an order via the reorder. Right. And so the last time I had ordered from them, I had bought for me, my sister, and my boss. But this time it's just me and my sister. So I clicked the two things that we ordered and I was like, okay, good to go. So I head out there and I'm like doing the rapid pickup. So I go to the shelf and I'm like looking and I'm like, I don't really see my order. And then I see one, it's kind of like the tag that's on it. It's a little bit like the printer's kind of faded. Sure. So I'm like, does that say Madrigal? And I'm like, yeah, it says Madrigal. But then the first letter, like the first initial is an L instead of an A. And I'm like, is that mine? And so I'm like looking at the items. And so me and my sister, we both gotten like the pick two, like where you like pick two like, item, whatever. Sure. And like I had gotten like a half sandwich and a half soup. And so had she. And so I'm looking and I'm like, okay, like this is two pick twos, but one of them has two soups and the other one has a sandwich. And I'm like, this isn't mine. So I start like walking away. And then the girl that's working there, she like comes up, she's like, hey, like, do you need help? And I'm like, oh, well, I'm just looking for my order. And she's like, what's your last name? I'm like, Madrigal. And she's like, oh, this is it. I'm like, no, I don't think that's it. And she was just like, oh, did you order like the 10 vegetable soup and like the creamy tomato and like this sandwich? And I was just like, yeah. And she's like, this is it. And I'm like, oh, like, okay. And so like I take it and I go to my car and I'm like looking through it and I'm like, this isn't it, because I was missing my sandwich, like it had everything except for like my half sandwich. Like it had a soup instead of my sandwich. I'm like, did they just get it wrong? Or did I order? Oh no, I thought I ordered it wrong because the soup that they had included was the same soup that my boss had ordered the last time I had ordered it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, maybe I clicked it wrong. And so I look at the like my receipt. I'm like, no, like I ordered it right. So I went back in and I'm like, hi, like me again. And I was just like, I don't think this is it. Like, I don't think this is my order. And I like show her my little receipt and she's looking at the receipt that she has and she's like, and she's like, oh wait, like what are you missing? And I'm like, I'm missing this sandwich. Like this one has like this soup and like I ordered a sandwich. And she's like, oh, I guess I must have given this to the other Madrigal that was here. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, there was a guy before you. He told me Madrigal. And so I gave him the order, but I guess this one was his and like he took yours. I'll just get you a new sandwich. And I'm just like, okay. So they make me a new sandwich. She's like, you could just keep the extra soup. And I'm like, that is so random that there is another person with my last name, which is not a common last name, and we ordered the exact same thing minus one item.
Yeah.
That's so random at the same time because we picked it up at the same time. Isn't that so random?
That really is.
I was like mind blown over it. Like, I was like,
pretty strange.
I want to know who this L Madrigal is. So if you're out there, hit me up. Sorry, you got a sandwich instead of your soup. Anyway, so that's like the only interesting thing that happened to me this week. The end.
Well, I mean, the end. All right. Sounds good. Well, I guess then we can move on.
Yeah, let's move on to the actual topic of the podcast, which is random rankings. So like I said, we're basically having like these different little topics, and we're gonna rank our top 5 items in that topic. Yes. So for example, the first topic is pizza, and we're gonna be ranking our top 5 favorite pizza places.
I would assume here, I'm just going out on a limb, that our number ones have to be the same.
I want to say they are.
I want to say they are.
Here's also
I'm going to be scandalized if it's not.
Here's also the thing. I was like kind of like not sure how to answer this one because I was like, are we talking like pizza chains or just like whatever pizza place? And so I did whatever pizza place.
Yeah, I included it all. I was all inclusive. So like any like pizzas that are out there.
Yeah. Okay. So what is your number 1, Alex? Or should we start at 5?
Yeah, let's go to 5.
Okay. What's your number 5?
Domino's.
Interesting. Okay, my number 5 is not Domino's, it's Pieology.
That's respectable though. I can see how that can make the top 5 because I mean, I'm really a fan of personal pizzas.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly the argument for it because it's like, it's so like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's universally like liked because you can make it your own. You know what I mean?
Right. And I know that there's other like personal pizza places that you can go to. Like my parents are really into that other one. What is it called? Blaze.
Pizza? Mod Pizza? Red Pizza?
I think maybe it is Blaze. Maybe it's not.
Blaze is like the next big one.
I think it might be Blaze. But anyway, the point is like, you know, people are fans of that. And my whole thing when it comes to like ordering food is that I'm a lot more inclined to just like get my own portion of things instead of just like, oh, let's just order like a family size or whatever and share it. So I really like the idea for that reason of a personal pizza. Also because I don't necessarily want to worry about what everyone else wants on it. Because then everyone could just get exactly what they want.
Absolutely. And I think that's the biggest like attractive feature because when I get like my personal pizza at Pieology, I guarantee you, Alex, if it were to be a communal pizza between you and me, you would hate it.
Oh, I'm sure.
I just load everything on. I'm just like, sure, put it on. Corn, put it on.
Corn?
Like, yeah, like corn on pizza is good. I'm telling you, like I'm just like, throw it on, like my pizza is like a mountain after the time I'm done at Pieology.
Well, your pizzas nowadays would make me sad because you're doing the no cheese.
We don't have cheese. Yeah, I know. Let's move on past that.
So I'm just kind of like that'd be just like the worst problem for me, really above anything else. I could try corn on a pizza. I mean, it's weird to me, but I'll do it.
I mean,
but without the cheese, I'm just kind of like, bruh, I can't do this.
Okay, so my number 4, and the reason I'm skipping to number 4 before talking about your Domino's choice is because my number 4 is Domino's.
Yes.
So, do you have any like reason why you chose number 4 as 5? Number 4 is 5. Did you listen to what I said?
I did, but I understand what you mean.
Chose Domino's as your number 5.
Yes. So here's the thing is that like, this is, I feel like the only like, I feel national pizza chain that I have on this list.
Okay.
So that means out of all the national pizza chains, this is my favorite one.
Me too, actually. This is the only one I have on my list too.
Yeah. So, I mean, I really hate Pizza Hut.
I don't like Pizza Hut either. Okay, why don't you like it?
I feel like the crust is sweet.
Okay, I was also going to mention the crust, but I don't think it's sweet. I think it's greasy.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, it has problems, but to me, I always felt like it was kind of sweet. And I was just saying literally yesterday to my sister-in-law, I was kind of like, I don't like sweet bread generally.
What about when we get like that sweet bread from Hungry Howie's?
I'm really glad. Okay, so that's really funny that you say that because that's going to come up later. It's okay. That Hungry Howie's is on my ranking, but I called it that place with the cinnamon bread.
Oh my God.
I couldn't remember what it's called. So let me just rename it right now. So here's what I mean though by that. So I actually mean like things that are not necessarily meant to, I feel like, be sweet, like pizza crust. I don't feel like it's meant to be sweet. Like when you're eating it with pizza.
Sure.
Like so that sort of thing. Like, you know, bread, like sandwich sort of breads that are kind of sweet. Like I don't like that either.
Okay.
I'm trying to think
of sweet sandwich bread.
Well, I'm trying to think of what the example was yesterday that we were talking about. Oh, it's like we were talking about dinner rolls. So I was saying something about dinner rolls, and then my mom was just like, oh yeah, you like the ones from Lucille's, right? I'm just like, no, they have sugar on them, and I don't like that it has sugar. I don't need my dinner rolls to be sweet.
I feel you. I feel like some bread, like I want it to be savory.
Exactly. So Hungry Howie's are going to put that right now.
Okay. And then also, what is your number 4? Because we mentioned my 4 was Domino's. What's yours?
Pizza Pirate.
I've never heard of Pizza Pirate.
I wouldn't think you would. So anyway, let me go finish the Domino's thing real quick.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
So I really, from my childhood, didn't really like Domino's that much either. I actually kind of liked Little Caesars the best out of the national chains for a while. I know that everyone hates Little Caesars, and that's fine, whatever. I like it better than Pizza Hut.
Yeah, I mean, wait, no. I actually disagree with that. I like Pizza Hut better than Little Caesars. Little Caesars is like you're drunk and trying to sober up pizza, which I can't, in no way does that taste good to me.
So really, the whole Domino's thing is because when I worked at Fox, we'd often, since we worked a ton of night shifts and stuff, and, you know, for 3 months at a time with the same people, there was a point in time where, we'd just, order out, every Friday or whatever together. And one of my coworkers used to work at Domino's, so he was always a big proponent of, oh, let's get Domino's, because there's one basically down the street from the studio lot. So he just ordered Domino's for us all the time. So it was kind of like Stockholm syndrome, he just forced me to liking it.
I guess I like this now.
Basically. So it just grew on me. The Domino's grew on me. Amazing. I think it's gotten better since our youth. But anyway. Okay. So Pizza Pirate.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I keep I'm one ahead of you. I'm sorry. Okay. Pizza Pirate. Go ahead.
So Pizza Pirate, that one, the only 2 locations that I know of, one's in Pomona, but on my side of Pomona, so closer to me.
Okay.
Than it is to you. And then there's one around the corner from my high school. So that one's more local to my area, not necessarily something I would expect that you would ever have had.
Yeah.
It's all it's a really solid pizza. I like it quite a bit. I mean, my mom, it's fallen out of favor with my mom, so we stopped eating it, but I like it. Anyway,
try it.
You should.
Okay, number 3. We are on the same level now.
Number 3 I put is Red Devil Pizza.
Oh, okay. My number 3 is Hungry Howie's. And so I'm assuming ours are, I know what the rest of our list is going off of this now.
Yeah.
So, okay. So let's debate why we think Hungry Howie's or Red Devil should be above or below each other.
See, here's the thing. It's just the one time that we had Hungry Howie's, because I feel usually when we have pizza, it's Red Devil.
Because it's a little bit above for me than Hungry Howie's.
And see, that's the thing. I've had the Red Devil pizza more than I've had the Hungry Howie's, but that one time we had Hungry Howie's, I'm like, man, this is good. And that cinnamon bread was good.
See, my reasoning behind it all is because I feel like Hungry Howie's is really good, cheap pizza. It is not artisanal, good for you pizza. It's cheap pizza, but it tastes good. I'm not here to say. What, go ahead.
Red Devil artisanal pizza?
I mean, I would say it definitely is more so than Hungry Howie.
I mean, because we talked about this the other day where I'm just kind of I could only eat pizza now at your house.
Yeah, I know.
Because
Pizza House.
because it's the pizza house. And I'd be more excited, I feel like, if we were getting Hungry Howie's. Like,
yeah, we should throw it into the mix. We should switch it up.
That's then it'll reinvigorate me, I think.
You're right. We should. Okay, so then our number one is obviously
warehouse.
Okay,
it's warehouse.
I'm like, it has to be warehouse. So you guys, if you're local to the Los Angeles area, specifically the tail end of Los Angeles going east, there is a little quaint city called Laverne, California. You probably heard us mention it on this podcast. And in the downtown D Street, there is a pizza place called Warehouse Pizza. And let me tell you, we are both here vouching for the fact that this is the best pizza you will eat.
Yes, it's my favorite pizza.
It is
so good.
It's so good. And the only thing for me is that Warehouse Pizza is only the best pizza when you eat it at Warehouse.
Absolutely. You have to eat it there. And it's kind of a pain because you have to have cash on you.
Yeah.
Because it's cash only restaurant. So
it's worth it. But it's worth it though, because like you go, you buy your pizza, you hang out, you buy a beer, like it's just a good time. And then the thing is that D Street, like the downtown, is really cute. So like if you sit outdoors, like it's a really cute scenery. Yeah. Like it's a fun time. Like absolutely, if you're ever in the area, I 100% recommend that you stop by Warehouse Pizza because it's bonkers.
We had Warehouse Pizza the day before your wedding.
We did. Yeah. And then I was all gassy. No, but for real, like Warehouse Pizza, it's amazing. And if you like ranch with pizza, I highly recommend the ranch.
They have good ranch. They have good salad too.
Yeah, and garlic bread too.
Yeah, their garlic bread. The whole thing, chef's kiss.
The whole thing is good. Just get Warehouse Pizza.
Okay. Yeah, you have to commit though to like you have to eat it with a knife and fork.
Oh yeah, you can't.
Because
you can't eat it.
If you're eating it before it's like fully cooled and the cheese is like coagulated, like you have to eat with knife and fork or else all of your toppings and cheese is falling off.
Yeah, and it's still tasty. That's the thing also is that you kind of have to eat this pizza before it's like fully cooled because that's part of like the deliciousness, like the meltiness of the cheese. Forget about it.
So good.
Oh, it's amazing.
I'm really glad that it's still on the top of your list because I'm just kind of like, if it's not on your list, I'm going to cry.
No, it's always been on the top of my list. It's just a matter of, can I eat the cheese anymore?
No.
Okay, let's move to the next category. All right, the next category is fast food. And let me tell you, I had the hardest time with this section. I don't know about you.
I imagine you did.
Yeah.
Because you're not really an unhealthy person.
I'm not a really big fast food person. So my choices here are like the least fast food you could probably imagine.
I would actually say something similar, really. Because like ever since I graduated from college, I actually stopped eating like traditional fast food.
Yeah.
Because
like
it's just gross.
I feel like there's like fast food. And then there's like another tier of like, it's fast food. And then there's restaurant dining. And I feel like mine are all in the, it's fast food, kind of specter.
Around the house, we call it like, there's restaurant, fast food, and then good food fast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a better descriptor. All right. What's your number 5?
Firehouse subs.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I really like Firehouse. I do have a sandwich place on mine. It's not Firehouse, but my number 5 is Chipotle.
That is also the least surprising thing I've ever heard. You and Eduardo with your Chipotle all the time. Every time you guys suggest it when we're like hanging out, I'm just like, why are you trying to kill me?
It's good. The only issue I have with Chipotle is that it legitimately I know this is always a joke, but every single time I have Chipotle, I have like the worst poops. But it's a thing. Like I'm okay with it.
That's because it's owned by McDonald's.
I mean, you're not wrong. I'm not telling you you're wrong, but it tastes good.
My problem with Chipotle is that the rice is limey. I don't like
Not the brown rice. I get the brown rice.
Oh, well, there you go, I guess. But anyway. Okay. So I guess, have that. But yeah, Firehouse is, I don't know if there's really one close to you, is there?
There used to be, and then they closed. There was one like in La Puente, and then whatever.
Yeah, because the Firehouse subs is like down the street basically from my house. So like it's super convenient. You could order it on the app in 10 minutes. Basically, like I give it 5 minutes after I ordered, just drive down there and it's ready.
Yeah,
I
actually really love Firehouse subs, but I was like, here's the thing. On my list, I was trying to have like one type of food per like five ranking spots. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to have 2 sandwich places. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's not the one I chose, but
as long as it's not Subway, I'm going to be okay with that.
Oh, do you even know me? Okay.
I didn't think it was.
I do not eat Subway. Okay. Anyway, let's move on to our number 4. What's your number 4, Alex?
So this one's actually interesting for me because it only entered the rankings during quarantine.
Interesting.
So this is not something that I ate before quarantine.
Okay, what is it?
Farmer Boys.
I've never had Farmer Boys. I know what it is. I've never had it.
So my whole thing with Farmer Boys is like, it's a fast food chain. However, it feels more like real food.
Okay.
Like I would say like it's just a little bit of a class
like, as opposed to fake food. Sorry, go on.
Yes. Well, like when you're comparing, because what I was going to say was, I feel like it's just a little bit of a step down from In-N-Out.
Okay.
In-N-Out, it's just like, that's quality. Like, you know how it says, it's quality you could taste.
Okay.
But it's not like Carl's Jr. or Burger King.
Okay, excuse you. Carl's Jr. is actually good. Burger King, not so much. But Carl's Jr. is actually good. I stand by it. It's on my list, but I actually think it's good.
I don't disagree that, you know, Carl's Jr. isn't good, but I feel like after eating Carl's Jr., it's like oil's coming out of my pores for like 2 days.
Depending on what you get. I guess if you get like the like double baconator, like whatever, maybe.
It's their crisp cut fries, actually.
I love their crisp cut fries.
They're so good, but like, ugh.
Okay.
It's not worth it afterwards.
But Farmer Boys actually sounds good. Like I just have never had it.
They have the bombest breakfast burrito. It's so good. So
is it better than classics?
Have I had a classics breakfast burrito?
I don't know. I'm surprised if you haven't though, because I'm always like classics breakfast burrito.
I don't think I have.
Oh wow. Well, we gotta do that then.
I guess maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll talk it up to next time.
Yeah.
Hey, what's your number 4?
Okay. Well, my number 4 is the sandwich place.
Okay.
And my sandwich place is Which.
Really?
Yeah, I really like it. I like the fact that you can like really customize it. Like there's no like set sandwiches at this place. Like it's not you order like, oh, I'll take the number. Well, I don't even know. Maybe they do. Like you could take like the number 1 or something. No, instead it's like you get this paper bag and there's like all the options for like toppings, meats, everything. You customize it entirely. Like you can have an entirely different sandwich every time you go. And that's mainly why I chose it. I was going between like Jersey Mike's, Firehouse, and Which, but ultimately I'm just like, I feel like Which is such a unique experience that like it was the one that I went with.
The one time I went, I wasn't very impressed.
Really? But maybe you didn't get a good sandwich.
I'm sure that you would feel that way.
Yeah, well, I really like it. And every time I go, I'm just like, oh, this is good. And I wish there was one closer to me because the closest one is by you. And so I don't get it often.
Yeah, I guess not. Would you only get that like when you were at the shop?
Yeah, I would only get it when I was at the shop. And fun fact, the shop is permanently closed.
Oh, I kind of knew that actually because they deleted their social media. Like I was looking for it the other day. I'm just like, well, I guess that they're done now.
Yeah, because so one of the things that I didn't mention in my week updates, but I have to apply for a CTE credential, which I've mentioned to you before, Alex. And one of the things I have to do is do work verification. And I have to have like my employers, like it's like more than just like oh, did you work here? It's like I have to have my employers like sign or like write out this paper on like company letterhead and like all this stuff. And I'm like, well, what the hell am I going to do for Bubble? You know, like that's not like official company letterhead.
Well, and also, isn't it your company?
Exactly. I mean, Jenny's above me. That's what like, you know, I had her sign it, whatever. Right. But like I was looking up the address to make sure I had it right because it's been a while and I kind of forgot. And when I looked it up, it was just like permanently closed. And I was just like, oh, crap.
That's not surprising to me at all. Like, because the way that they were like, you know, ranking down on like what you could do, like, oh, you can only order, you know, basically catering orders. Like it was like 12 drinks or something minimum. And it was like, how are you going to get that right now? But anyway.
Yeah, crazy.
So I figured that's what happened.
Okay, so what's your number 3?
Whopper Grill.
Oh my God. Ew.
I know that you hate it so much and I don't understand why, but I love Whopper Grill.
I'll tell you exactly why I hate it. Every single time I have it, the chicken is mushy. It's mushy. It's like
really
so gross. It's so
I've never had that problem before actually. And you know how often I ate Whopper Grill.
I know it's disgusting to me. Like it is repulsive to my core. Sorry,
go on. So much. It was like the easiest thing for me to like quickly pick up on my way to work when I was working in TV.
Hate it.
Because I could just bring it over and then like by the time I got there, I just like microwave it a little bit because it also came in a microwavable package already. And then I just eat it when I got to work. And it was so simple and yummy.
I'm not judging you because to each their own, but I hate Whopper Grill. I'm here to say that like I 100% disagree with you.
I know you do.
Okay, so my choice for this one is kind of similar in the sense that it's the same components.
Really?
But not teriyaki. Mine is Halal Guys.
Fair.
Yeah, so Halal Guys is Mediterranean, and so it's rice, salad, and like the meat. But I feel like it tastes significantly better than Whopper Grill.
The one time I had it with you, it was really good.
Yeah.
I haven't had it since then because
it's not by you.
It's not by me, and also that's not the genre of food that my family eats.
That's true. But maybe if they tried it, they would probably like it. I mean, it's pretty good.
Quizás.
Anyway, all right. What's number 2 for you?
So this one I doubt that you've heard of, but it's called Magic Wok.
Oh, I have heard of it, but I've never been to it. It's like the fast food Chinese, right?
I mean, I guess fast food, it's not like a drive-through or something.
It's like in malls, isn't it?
Not that I've seen. I mean, the one that like, there's one by my house that my twin brother and sister-in-law suggested to us during quarantine.
Okay.
And it's it's kind of over where the Commons is.
Okay.
In Chino Hills. But anyway, it's so good. And like their 2-item combo, so like 2 entrees with chow mein and fried rice is like $8.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much food. It's really good Chinese food.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been like, my family's been all about it lately. It was so good. I actually have some leftovers of it in my fridge right now. I'm gonna have it for lunch one of these days.
See, here's the thing. Chinese food is actually probably one of my all-time favorite cuisines because I grew up like, you know, with like a Chinese household. But because I grew up with a like authentic Taiwanese household where like they were cooking the food there, I hate like Chinese takeout. I hate it. It tastes awful to me. Like I have to go to an authentic restaurant, otherwise I don't enjoy it. I know. It's the unpopular opinion.
I've actually felt like suggesting it like once or twice, like, oh, I could like bring it over like when I come over. But if you're gonna be that way about it.
I know that actually Chinese food is probably like the one cuisine that I am the most difficult with because it's like, ugh, it's so nasty if it's not authentic for me. I don't know why.
Anyway, what's your number 2?
My number 2, and you're going to be upset with this. It's In-N-Out. It's not my number 1.
Blasphemy.
I know. I knew that was going to be your number 1, but it's because my number 1 is, I feel like, a little bit more universal for my taste. But I am here to say that In-N-Out is the best burger place, hands down. Like, it's a go-to at any... In-N-Out is a go-to at any time of the day. That's the difference between my number 1 and my number 2.
Well, I need to know now what your number 1 is right off the bat so I can feel justified in my mind that you didn't just like...
Keep in mind that this is, for me particularly, it suits my needs better, but my number 1 is Panera.
Of course it is.
Like, okay, like I like to eat like healthy salad, soup. Like it makes sense for me.
I'm not mad about that because I know that about you. Because you eat Panera all the time.
I eat Panera literally all the time. My opening story today was about Panera.
You and I almost got into it. Well, not that. I majorly scolded you at a Panera.
Yeah.
I put you in a timeout at a Panera.
Which, I mean... Yeah. If I knew you better, I wouldn't have done that, but we've just met each other.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, so, I mean, I guess that's fair. I can understand that. But yeah, as you pointed out, my number 1 is In-N-Out.
Obviously.
And not just because I worked there.
I didn't say that.
I'm saying that to the audience, not to you.
Okay. All right.
Not just because I worked there for 5 years. Let's just forget that for a second. It's because, like you said, it's a pretty universal go-to thing that it's just good all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it does a lot for me that everything really is like real and fresh.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Like, we, hand leaf the lettuce, slicing the tomatoes ourselves, making sure that it's good quality stuff. The fries actually come from real, honest to goodness potatoes that are sliced in store. It's all good stuff.
It's
all
agree
real
with you 100%.
stuff.
100%, I agree with you.
You don't feel too gross after eating In-N-Out.
Amen.
As opposed to like McDonald's where you feel like death for like
I thought you were gonna be like as opposed to Carl's Jr.
Well, that too. I felt
oh my god.
Well, I ate Carl's Jr. so much like when I was an intern because I'd like pick it up before getting on the 57 to like go to work. So I haven't eaten Carl's Jr. since I graduated from college.
I haven't eaten Carl's Jr. in literally years either, but like I just remember liking it.
I feel like if I were to eat it now, it'd be like a major shock to my system.
I mean, me too. But all right, let's move on to our next topic here. And this one is also a really difficult one for me because I don't really know what to label some of the music I like, but this one is music genres.
Yeah.
So what's your number 5 for this topic?
So I'm basing this off of like recent tastes, obviously, because, I think that taste in like movies, TV shows, music is always evolving and changing.
Right.
So my current, I would say number 5 is J-pop. Mostly because like all the anime openings and closings that I have on my phone right now, I just feel like I have to put it on there if I'm going to be honest.
You're such a dweeb.
Hey man, it's good stuff. Like literally yesterday, my sister-in-law was like, so I downloaded the song from the anime that you had me watch. I was kind of like, yeah, bro, because it's good music.
That's funny. For anyone that doesn't know, J-pop is Japanese pop.
Yes.
Anyway, my number 5 is pop, just pop, like plain pop, like Katy Perry, that type of music.
Yeah.
I don't know why, like when I thought pop, Katy Perry was the first person that came to mind. Like she's not even one of my favorite artists, but whatever. That's my number 5.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, so go ahead.
I said nothing else particular to say about that?
Not really, because I feel like it's just kind of like it's solid music. It's the music you hear on the radio that's like catchy, but like not necessarily the music that you're like, oh, let me show you this awesome song I just heard, Alex, you know? But it's good.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
what's your number 4?
My number 4, and I feel a little bad about having this so low on my rankings, but it's mostly just because I don't actively like seek out like new music for it. Like
are you gonna just like hurt me at my core right now with your answer? Because I feel like you're going that way.
Absolutely not. I'm just gonna say it's Christian music, actually.
Oh, okay. I thought it was going a different avenue here.
No. So because like it's really high on my list because it means a lot to me. And like, you know, I hear a lot of worship music and stuff, you know, through church and whatever. So like it's always meant something to me and I enjoy it, but I'm not like actively like looking into like, oh, what's the new songs right now?
Yeah.
So that's why, I mean, it still makes my list, but it's not at the top because of that reason. Like I'm not actively seeking out new songs.
Right. I mean, that's fair. My number 4, I didn't have a genre title for it because I don't know what the genre is, but I have a question to pose to you to help me come up with it. It's what genre is the XX?
The XX? Do I not know what the XX is?
You don't know who the XX are? Oh, they're so good. It's like
a pop band.
What? No, it isn't.
I just Googled it right now.
That is absurd. That has to be wrong. Because if you listen to this music, Alex, you're like, this ain't pop.
Are they British?
Maybe.
English indie pop band.
Okay, so like indie more type music. Okay, then indie is my answer. If anyone knows who the XX are, that's the genre. That is my number 4.
It's so funny because like I'm on Google, right? So like I go to genre on the like right hand side and it has like 5 different things. So it's like indie rock, electronic music, indie pop, contemporary R&B, and then more.
See, that's my point, is because this music is so like interesting. I don't necessarily know like what to title it, but I guess like, yeah, like contemporary R&B and indie pop makes sense. Like a combination of those two.
I will say though, that when I was like typing in the XX, like I got to the first X and then you know how Google like tries to auto populate and stuff.
Yeah.
So the first suggestion is the XX pop band.
Okay.
So like Google identifies it as a pop band. As
pop, yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to play a song for you later, and then you're gonna be like, "This ain't pop." But okay, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is alternative rock. Listen, don't make the face.
Number 3. Okay. Go ahead. Back up your claim.
Mostly because I don't know what your attitude is about right now. If you feel that that's too low or too high, where are you at right now?
Low.
Okay, so here's the why it's so low, which even isn't so low because it's number my top 3. Favorite,
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Genres. You gave me flack for having In and Out at 2, so
that's different. Anyway, I would say that because like I'm not actively seeking out new stuff for it or anything. Well, I'm not like actively seeking out that much anymore. Sure. But like all my classic stuff is from that genre, so it deserves a place because I still love it.
Okay, fair. Well,
what's your number 3?
My number 3, and here's another one that's like, what is this, guys? What genre is like Hozier?
Okay, let's see. Hozier music artist.
It's like pop. Pop band.
Literally? Is it not gonna say? Like not even a Wikipedia thing is coming up for it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like Hozier, like Mumford and Sons, like that kind of like bluegrassy kind of feel, but not bluegrass. You know what I mean? Folk, yeah, like folk. Yeah,
it's folk.
Yeah, I like folk music a lot.
I think that, so here's my thing, is that I'm actually like really into like soul and like blues stuff as well. Like that's great. And I think that, that's a lot of part of like, especially like Mumford and Sons, so I really like Mumford and Sons as well. But I don't like it universally enough to put it in like the category genre of my favorites. But also my like honorable mentions would be probably stuff like some folk, and then like bluegrass. Like I have like a space in my heart for bluegrass.
I feel like for me it's like kind of what you're saying. I don't actively seek out folky music, but it's one of these genres that when I hear it, I'm like, oh my God, like I feel this in my soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I made it to my top 3. What's your number 2?
Number 2 is classic rock.
Okay, that's respectable. That's respectable.
It should be. It really should be.
Yeah.
Like 60s, 70s rock.
Absolutely.
Because I'm just like, that's like, not to sound, quote unquote old or anything, but I feel like that's when music was really real. Like everyone was playing actual instruments, and like there was a bunch of talent behind it that, I feel like is a little bit different now. Not to say that today's artists aren't talented, because I'm definitely not saying that.
Yeah.
But, I think that there's a lot more help digitally now.
Yeah.
With music artists, whereas back then it was just kind of like, this is just really talented.
It was raw.
Yeah, it was like, that's why I have a lot of respect for it. And there's just such like good songs in there that are just 100%. Timeless.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
What's your number 2?
Classic rock didn't make it to my top 5, but that would be my honorable mention. My number 2 is pop punk / emo.
Yep, I kind of include that in alternative a little bit to me.
See, for me, it's kind of different because, like, for me, pop punk like / emo is more like the Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy, like Hawthorne Heights type of music, and then alternative is more like Rise Against, like Incubus, like stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Well, just know when I put alternative, I'm encompassing all of that in there.
Okay, fair. Well, for me, pop punk, like I'm constantly seeking out like covers, like punk covers of like recent songs. Like I recently been like sending everyone and their mom this like cover I found by this like punk artist of that new song Driver's License. And I'm just like, oh, it's so amazing.
What the listeners didn't see, if you're not watching this on YouTube and you're just listening to this on Apple Podcasts or something, is that when she said the name Driver's License of that song, I rolled my eyes. Because she sent me this cover that she was talking about, right?
I've sent it to everyone.
It's so good. Like, I really like it a lot better than the original. But like, because she was asking me like, oh, have you heard the song? And I'm like, because I don't know it by name. I'm just like, I don't think so. I'm just like, what are you talking about? It's like all over the radio right now. Anyway, I was listening to it, right, to give it its due diligence. And I'm just kind of like, the premise of the song is weird, man. Like, she's just driving by this dude's house.
You're right. It is weird. But at the same time, I feel like I kind of get it. Like, I feel like that's something that I would do in high school, like putting yourself in a high school mindset. Like, I feel like I would like drive by places that would give me memories if I was like dealing with heartbreak.
It's actually kind of funny because I was the opposite. Like
you would avoid
I would actively avoid driving by places that would give me heartache.
Yeah, see, I think that's the difference. Like, I am a very like self-inflicting, like kind of wounded person.
You're a masochist.
Yeah, so I'm just like I deserve this pain.
Yeah, but I think it's weird. Like, oh, I got this driver's license and I'm gonna just drive by your house now and remember things. And I'm just like, well, that's special.
I mean, what if the house is on her way to her house? Like, what if she has to pass it, and as she's passing it, she's like, oh, the memories, you know?
Right. Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay, what's your number 1?
My number 1, which you may or may not take issue with, is actually pop music.
Okay.
Mostly just because, like, before I had a car that has Bluetooth, I had to listen to a lot of the radio when I was driving to work.
Sure.
So I would listen to top 40 radio. So that was mostly pop music. So I just was, being bombarded with pop music all the time. I was like, well, this is pretty good. Sure.
That's exactly what I was saying. That was kind of like my reason why I put it at 5, is that it's like, it's always just pretty good, but it's like, I very rarely find a pop song where I'm just like, this is amazing.
Because I feel like for a period of time, like that's the only like new music I was like consistently hearing for like a long period of time.
Sure.
So that's why I put it up so high.
For sure. And I mean, like, a lot of the music that I included is a derivative of pop. So like, I'm here to say it's good. Right. My number 1 is alternative rock. I just feel like it's such like an easy thing to be good. Like, there's so few alternative rock songs that come out that you're just like, this is not good, you know? Yeah. Like, it's just like, it's so good.
It is. I feel like there's like real like meaning and purpose behind their lyrics and stuff.
Yeah,
so
like
that's what I really like about it.
Yeah, totally.
It's always really good.
Okay, let's move on to best TV shows. And oh boy, was I ready for this one. What's your number 5?
You're gonna laugh.
Oh boy.
Number 5 is
Okay.
One Tree Hill.
Oh my god.
Okay, let's just appreciate.
I'm appreciating.
For the sake of this podcast and for the sake of this like category, I didn't put any anime in here.
Oh, okay.
This is all American TV.
So that people can relate.
Yes. So number 5, One Tree Hill.
Okay, well go ahead. You want to go first? Explain yours.
Oh yeah, so I only started watching it in college, our freshman year of college, because one of our roommates is like really all about it. And I wasn't on board with it at first, but then they were watching a lot of it around me, and then I got sucked in because it's basically like a teenage soap opera.
Right.
So you just get invested. I mean like any TV show, the last couple seasons kind of suck a little bit, but for the most part it's good.
I can respect that, how like you get invested and then it just becomes like this part of your, I don't know, every day.
Right.
I personally am not a big like soap opera / drama type of person.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, but I can respect it.
Anyway, what's your number 5?
So my number 5, and here's the thing, my number 5 choice really should be my number 1 if this category was like serious TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm talking about like watchability, like rewatchability factor, I had to put this at number 5 because I'm like, this isn't as rewatchable as like the 4 other ones I chose, but this I think is the best TV show that exists.
Mm-hmm.
And my answer to this is Sherlock. Not
really?
Yes, not like Elementary, like not like the movie Sherlock Holmes, like
the BBC
British
show.
Yeah, the BBC show Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch. It is so good. Like it is just every single episode is like a little movie, like a little masterpiece, and it all culminates to that final season. Well, technically it's not even over. Technically they should have more seasons, but like all the actors are so busy that they haven't gotten around to it. But like the last season is legitimately scary. And like, I don't know, it's just like amazing to me that this TV show is able to like capture so much like just emotion and like storyline in like episodes. You know what I mean?
To be honest, I lost interest in season 3 somewhere. And here's my thing, is that at the time is when, you know, like I started watching it, I think maybe because you were going on about it or something. And
seems unlikely. Every time I recommend a show, you don't watch it.
Listen, I was watching it though.
Okay,
it's probably because you didn't like go on about it too much, but you were like really excited about it. So I was watching it, and I think it was like during that time I was like really busy with other things. So like the fact that the episodes were so long, and just like I don't have time.
They are long. Yeah, they are long. You have to commit to it.
And it's really difficult for me after dropping a show to pick it back up.
Well, I mean, not that this will change your stance, because every time, like, I strongly encourage you, it doesn't happen, but I strongly encourage you to finish it because the last season is sublime. Like, it is just amazing.
I would say that I really did like the beginning episodes.
Really good. All right, what's your number 4?
So I have to put a disclaimer out here for like the TV show things, because like as you're talking I was remembering more TV shows that I love.
Sure.
And I try to make my list with some kind of diversity and like feeling.
I didn't.
So because like there's some that I feel like you take issue with it not being on my list, even though I really do love the shows.
Sure.
But I just, you know, I wanted to show some diversity a little bit of the shows that I really love. So the next one I really like is an HBO show called The Newsroom. Okay. Which I actually had to start watching. Well, we started watching it in my media ethics class in college. Mm-hmm. And The Newsroom, like the name suggests, is actually about journalists at a news organization. And what I really like about this show is I feel that, because I'm really jaded when it comes to like media, like the popular like mass media, because I don't trust it very much. Just because, you know, like I know what I know from taking classes in college, because I had to take journalism classes as a part of my major. So I know how kind of scummy things can get a little bit and how dishonest things can get. So I'm skeptical, you know, just in general when I hear things on the news of like, is this really the full story? Is this really right? And because everyone, you know, has their own leanings and agendas, like what am I really hearing here? Right. So I feel like The Newsroom is kind of like the embodiment of what news organizations should be. Because like their whole thing, like in all the characters, like whole thing is like they're trying to do the news well and not just try to create like popular news that will be like popular with the people, but to really like form like an intelligent debate about things. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
So I'm just like, I felt like watching these episodes, like, man, this is really good. Because like the first episode, like it begins with like the main character like giving this like really impactful, I feel like, speech that I just like super agreed with.
Yeah.
Like, so at the beginning, it was kind of like, well, you sold me.
Yeah. I'll have to look into it. That does sound appealing to me and it sounds interesting. So I'll look into it.
Yeah. And like one thing, because obviously like every, country, every place like has its own problems, whatever. And I really liked one line that one of the characters delivered, which is like that America is one of those countries that over and over says that we can do better. And I'm just like, I like that, acknowledging that, we have our flaws as a country, but that we need to try to do better.
Right.
So I'm just kind of like, this is all kinds of inspirational. I like it.
Love it.
So I love rewatching it.
Good plug.
So number 4, what's yours?
My number 4 is Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
That's only number 4?
Yeah, because the ones above it, like, they have to be above it. Like, I can't. And this is actually a debate that me and Aaron, my husband, have very often. And it's not even, okay, you know what? I should rephrase that. It's not even a debate that me and Aaron have. It's a debate that I have with myself while talking to him. Because he has no part in the debate. It's just me explaining to him why I have to rationalize like the ranking system in my head for these like 4 shows.
Sure.
But Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it's like the show about police officers who are in the 99th precinct of New York. And it's just basically like them, like, solving cases, living life. And it is so amazingly funny. And I've recently got Alex to like start watching a few episodes. She really hasn't like continued yet. But like once you really start going, like, oh my gosh, it is just so good. And here's the thing, here's the unique thing about this comedy is that a lot of times like comedies are like very like one-off, like one episode to the next is like, new storyline, doesn't really follow like a sequential, like overarching storyline. I mean, sometimes they do, but like it's not really like dramatic. And this show, at the end of some of the seasons, it's like things happen that like I legitimately was like, I did not expect this to happen. Like this is not like what I would expect to see in a comedy. Like it's still funny, but like the things happening in the show are like not comedy like happenings. And I don't want to say more because Alex hasn't seen it and I don't want to ruin it for her and I want her to be surprised just as I was. But it's amazing. It's on Hulu. Watch it. What's yours?
I will admit that it is pretty funny. It can be pretty funny. And I really like that Kid Cudi was just randomly in it. Yeah, we were watching it the other day. And by the way, like when we watch it at her house, like it usually is in situations where we're not inclined to focus.
Yeah.
So there's that as well, which isn't really helping. But like randomly looking up on screen, I'm just like, is that Kid Cudi?
Yeah, we need to like set aside a time where we actually like sit down and watch it because it is sensational. And like you said, like the whole like random Kid Cudi, like they have a lot of like random cameos from like a bunch of actors throughout the whole series. Okay, what's your number 4? 3, sorry.
My number 3 is Friends. So, okay, just relax.
3? Who are you?
I think once you hear like my other like 2, you'll understand why I put it as 3.
Okay, I think I know what one of yours is, but go on. Why is it 3?
Well, I'm just saying I love Friends. Like Friends is a great show. I cried in the finale watching Friends. Like it was just, it's perfection, really. It's really good. There's other shows that I find that the other 2 shows that are on above it on my list have different like meanings to me, which is why they're up higher. But it's really hard to make this list because there's a lot of really good shows and a lot, especially really good comedies out there.
Yeah.
That are just like, it's hard to like make these rankings, but Friends is like great. I have no complaints about Friends. It's so funny. I always like to put it on when I just like, I need to work through something. Like when I'm at work or whatever, I'll just like play it in the background. It's just always something funny to hear.
Yeah.
Because then you get distracted by it and you just like start hilariously like laughing.
It's like an easy show to just catch on to like the random jokes. Like you don't have to be paying attention and then you just hear a joke. You're like,
it's really good. But anyway, so what's your number 3?
My number 3 is, let me double check it really fast, make sure I didn't screw. I'm telling you, I always like debate with them in my head. Okay. My number 3 is Scrubs.
Okay.
And here's the thing, like my top 4 are all comedies. And the reason I like rank them that way is because I decided that the best TV shows for me were going to be which TV shows have the highest rewatch value. And so Scrubs, I think, is absolutely amazing show. Like that's another show that like they really were able to teeter between comedy and like serious like drama.
Yeah.
Like depending on like what was the situation. And like especially right now, like I've been listening to like the Fake Doctors Real Friends podcast that Zach Braff and what's his face have, Donald Faison.
Yeah.
And it is so funny. Like even to this day, like those guys are just so hilarious. And like it's just such an enjoyable show. If you guys haven't seen it, once again, it's on Hulu. Amazing. Okay, what's your number 2?
Scrubs.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I'm just kind of like, you can't be so mad because Scrubs is my number 2.
Yeah, Scrubs is so good. That's the thing. I always have to debate between like Scrubs, like, well, continue.
Yeah. So Scrubs, obviously for all the aforementioned reasons, is just like a work of art, basically. It's so good. Yeah. It's hard for me to rewatch because I know how it pains me to get to the end.
Wait, do you mean the end as in season 9 or like the finale of season 8?
Well, really, it pains me because of how it ended up ending with season 9.
Okay, yeah. I just pretend it doesn't happen.
But like, as we've talked about in previous episodes, like the season 8 finale is one of the most emotional things like ever. And it's just like, it hurts so good.
Yeah, season 8 finale is debatably for me the best finale of all TV series.
I would say it is. For me, it really is. It's just like, it's perfection. Yeah. I mean, sobbing, so much sobbing. Yeah, especially with that song, because they're so good at like throwing in music. Like music for the right emotional stuff. Absolutely. Especially in that moment where that song is like, well, just kill me.
Yeah, it's
right. Die.
Yeah, if you guys don't know what we're talking about when we reference season 8 versus season 9, listen to our TV shows with worse endings podcast and you'll understand.
Yes.
Oh gosh. Okay, my number 2, and I always have to teeter between this and my number 1, but my number 2 is Parks and Rec. It is this. Okay, here's the thing. I know I've been preaching the whole like, what is the most rewatchable show for me? And I think arguably this is the most rewatchable show in my entire life. I can watch it, like I'll finish the series and I'll just start it right over again and just continue on a loop. I think every single episode is a masterpiece. All the jokes are amazing. Like all the actors are incredible. I cannot speak higher of a comedy. Like this is, I know a lot of people are always just like, what's better, The Office or Parks and Rec? And I'm just like, Parks and Rec is like miles better than The Office. I'm sorry. Like I think The Office is funny, but like Parks and Rec is way better, like way better, because there aren't like insufferable characters like Michael Scott, who at the end of the day, you love Michael Scott, but like in Parks and Rec, there's not characters where you're just like, you know?
True. Very true. So before you kill me.
Oh no.
Over my number 1.
Oh no. Is it
Huh? No, it's not Entourage.
Okay.
So here's what I'd like to say is that if I remembered when I was like quickly writing down my, list for this, I honestly would have put my number 5 as Parks and Rec, because Parks and Rec isn't on my list. Yeah, and it pains me to say that because you reminded me when I said the Friends one, I think that's when I remembered, about Parks and Rec. It was like, I should have put that as my number 5. I really should have, because Parks and Rec is so funny. So funny. And it's just so feel good, really.
Yeah. 100%.
Like you feel good watching it. And the really tragic part about it is that my mom doesn't like it.
Shut up.
Or else, like, because it's just not her boat of comedy. Like, it's just not something for her.
So good.
The thing is, if it wasn't for that, because like we've been dying, basically, like our family's been dying, like the whole quarantine of like, what do we watch together?
Right.
Because, a lot of, current TV shows were on hiatus for a really long time because of, the pandemic and stuff. And one thing that my dad and I really wanted to just start rewatching was Parks and Rec, because he loves it. He thinks it's so funny. Amazing. Which of course it is.
Love your dad.
But we're not going to alienate my mom.
That's true.
So we weren't able to rewatch it. But so that would be my actual number 5. But going to my number 1, and I feel like you'll understand this once I say it.
Oh my god, I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is. Wait, can I guess?
Sure.
Is it that one show? I forget what it's called. Like Friday Night Lights or something?
No, it's not at all Friday Night Lights.
Wait, hold on. Maybe that's not the right title of it. That one with like the brothers who hated each other because like one of them, like he's raising his like nephew, something with like the kids. The one that you and Katie used to watch all the time in college. Or was that Corey?
That's One Tree Hill.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure you're talking about One Tree Hill.
Maybe I am. I just remember that there was like something with brothers.
That's probably One Tree Hill, but that's really funny. No, it's Seinfeld.
Oh, I don't think it's funny, but go on.
And that's fine, you don't, but like that's what my family watched together as I was growing up.
I know you love this show.
So like I have, you know, a deep emotional attachment, and it's like, you know, kind of what informed my sense of humor really growing up. Like I just to this day think it's hilarious. Not like every single thing, obviously. Like there's some episodes I could go the rest of my life without watching, but for the most part, it's really hilarious and it has just sentimental meaning for me.
I mean, there's like so many people that love Seinfeld, so I'm not judging you. It's just I don't know why I don't find it funny at all.
And that's fine because one of my sister-in-laws doesn't find it funny either. So it happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's your number one?
Well, shocker, my number one is Friends.
Yeah, I mean, that's
love
fair.
Friends. Like you can't, it's just such a good show. It's like that's another one where it's like every single episode is good. There's not a single episode where I'm just like, this is a stupid episode, you know? And just like, how can you not love it? Like there's no way you can't love it.
Yeah, Friends is solid. I mean, I have my Friends coasters right here.
Yeah, it's just the best.
It's a solid show.
Okay, absolutely. Well, before we move on really quick, I want to make like honorable mentions. I'm not going to go into detail, but if I could extend my list to like other like genres and whatnot. Well, 1, Schitt's Creek, it's amazing. 2, Forensic Files, I love it. Murder Mysteries, amazing. And 3, Breaking Bad.
If I were to give some honorable mentions, I'd put New Girl up there.
Oh,
New Girl's really funny.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, I don't love all of it, but it's pretty funny. Like a lot of the peripheral characters are so funny. Like Schmidt is so funny. Schmidt, Winston, Nick, they're hilarious. I can't even deal. They're so funny.
Here's the thing about New Girl really fast before we move off the topic. When I watched New Girl with Aaron, like he started watching it without me, and then like I just kind of jumped in on random episodes, and then like we'll watch it at night when we're going to bed, and I'll always fall asleep before Aaron. He'll be still watching TV. So to this day, when I'm like rewatching New Girl, there's like always episodes that I've never seen before. Yeah, like episodes that like Aaron was watching while I fell asleep. So like, I'll always just randomly get like nuggets of New Girl shows or episodes.
To be truthful, I haven't actually watched the last season because I hate when things get to the last season and things are starting to wrap up because I don't like the endings of things.
Yeah, the last season's okay. Like a lot of people bag on it, but I'm like, it's not the worst, but it's not great either.
Right. So other honorable mentions that I put out there would be, and one that I'm rewatching right now actually is Bones. I really like Bones. It's a good show. One. And then CSI. Yeah. I really liked CSI, but not like, you know, all the crazy offshoots, like CSI proper.
Right. All right. Let's move on to our next topic. Let's maybe wrap up with this topic, Alex, because we're like taking a long time, and then we could save the other two for future ranking dates.
Oh, sure.
Since I think we're over like an hour and a half already.
You know, this is why I said it was kind of like, we should probably spend more time with these.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so we'll wrap up with this one and we'll save the other ones for future rank dates. But the next topic, and I feel like this is a good topic to end on because it's something that you really like, Alex, and that I have opinions about for the most part. But it's romantic comedies. Yeah. So what's your number 5 romantic comedy?
The Proposal.
Really? Oh my God.
What is the really about? Do you think it's too low, or do you think that's weird it's on my list at all?
Yes, I think it's way too low.
I think it's funny. It's really funny. It's very funny.
That progression right there.
But there are other romantic comedies that I enjoy rewatching more.
Okay, well, I want to hear what your other ones are. So my number 5 is The House Bunny.
Okay.
What is the sigh? You don't think it's good?
See, this is like one of those classic things where I like all the peripheral characters, but not the main character.
You don't like Anna Faris?
She's just fine as an actress, but her character is kind of annoying to me.
But like that's the whole point. Like she's supposed to be this like ditzy girl.
Yeah, and that doesn't really work for me.
I guess. I think it's so funny. I love that movie.
I mean, it is funny, but it's just like, ugh.
I quote it all the time. I'm always like, me and my sister, we're always just like, do you know where the bathroom is? I had to do something mysterious in there. Chop some timber. We always say that to each other.
No kid.
Oh my god. Okay, what's your number 4?
Easy A.
Okay.
I love Emma Stone. I think that
too.
she's really funny. And I think that she's hilarious in this movie. I just really like this movie. It's just so funny. Like, all the characters are just really funny to me. And it has like an overall, like, she's a really, like, you root for her the entire time. And she never really gets too down about any of her situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good movie. I think I've only seen it like twice, maybe. Not because it was bad or not because I didn't like it. I just like it. It was fine for me.
And I think the guy who plays the teacher, which I always get confused about his name, so I'm not gonna even try. Oh, Thomas Church something. Anyway,
I don't know.
He's really funny to me, just in general. Like, whatever he's in, he's usually pretty funny. So, like, it's a cherry on top that he's in there.
For sure.
Anyway, so what's your number 4?
My number 4 is The Wedding Singer. And I know you're not an Adam Sandler fan. Have you seen this movie?
I can't say I have.
Okay. Well, I know you're not an Adam Sandler fan. And I'm okay with Adam Sandler. I definitely think he's annoying in like a lot of ways. But like this movie is so freaking cute. Like, I love this movie. It's basically like, well, I mean, how do I explain this? Like, it's one of the roles that Adam Sandler's in where he's not playing his typical Adam Sandler self, or he's like over the top, kind of annoying. It's like he's actually playing like this kind of like low key, like nice guy who's trying to get the girl. Like, he's playing that trope of like the nice guy who like the girls with like the jerk, kind of deal.
Yeah.
And I might make you watch this movie, Alex, because I think you would like it. It really falls into your alley of like rom-com, like feel good, not annoying type of movie. Like, I know, like, like I can respect that you don't like House Bunny because I know you're that type of person who gets like easily annoyed with like kind of obnoxious characters.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like there are very many obnoxious characters in The Wedding Singer, minus the antagonist, who you're obviously supposed to not like them.
Right.
So I feel like you would really like it. I recommend it highly. What's yours?
So my number 3, which I made you watch actually, so I think that you should probably like this one. I think you liked it, is Crazy Stupid Love.
Oh, yeah, I do really like. Oh, I forgot about this one. This one is a really good one.
Right, exactly. So like there's a lot of, storylines going on at one time that converge in a really hilarious way. Steve Carell is one not annoying in this, so that's great. And he's also really funny just in general. Marissa Tomei's character is so funny. And she's so tragic. Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone together are just always super cute. And Ryan Gosling is so funny. Like, there's like that one, scene in there, remember, where he's going shopping with Steve Carell, and Steve Carell opens his wallet for the first time and it's Velcro. And like Ryan Gosling takes a step back and like does this thing like and
I catch hepatitis from it or something.
Yeah, I just die every single time that I see that. It's so funny. For whatever reason, that specific moment is like killing me all the time.
Yeah, that I gotta give it to you. I actually forgot about this movie. It would probably make my list if I remembered it. Right. This movie was so good, and like you were saying, like that part at the end where all the storylines kind of converged, legitimately like took me by surprise when I first watched it. I was like, shut up.
And it's hysterical.
Good. Yeah.
Like when Ryan Gosling's just in the middle, like everyone's like trying to fight each other, and he's just like, I don't know what's happening right now.
Yeah, it's so good. So good.
It's a good one. And it just ends in a good way as well. Like everyone feels good at the end, which is of course what I like in movies. So
agreed.
So what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Miss Congeniality.
Okay.
And it like my number 2 and my number 3, I had a hard time with like choosing which one goes above the other because I feel like I love these movies so much. Miss Congeniality, I feel like I watch like super, super often. I love Sandra Bullock. Also, what's his face? What's the main guy that's in it?
Let me look it up real quick because I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
It's like right there.
Give me a second.
Wait, hold on. Before you say it, give me his first letter of the name.
B.
Oh, it's oh my god, I know, it's like literally at the tip of my tongue. It's
You got this, BB.
Hold on. I really have it. It's Benjamin Bratt.
Yes, which is why I said you got this, BB, because that was the hint.
Yeah, Benjamin Bratt. Yeah, I love Benjamin Bratt.
Yeah.
It's like a long way to get there. But the movie itself is amazing. The second one sucks so bad.
Which happens for sequels.
Which happens. But the first one is classic. I don't know. I can rewatch it endlessly.
Right. All right. Number 2.
I suppose we should have been giving like little synopses of these movies, but whatever. All right, number 2. What's yours?
The Other Woman. which I believe I made you watch before.
You did make me watch it.
Did you like it?
Here's the thing about this movie. I really liked it up until the end.
Really?
Like the end when they all kind of like, when the guy realized that they were all in on it or whatever, like that.
Okay, so
scene.
Since you were saying we should have been giving synopsis, let me just give a quick one.
You're right.
So like kind of just like get into it. So the whole premise of this movie, it's 3 different women are like basically the main characters. So we got Cameron Diaz, Leslie Mann, and Kate Upton. And the main character is Cameron Diaz. She's dating someone, she's a lawyer, like real hotshot lawyer, and she's finally like getting like serious with her boyfriend, only to find out that he's married.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole premise of this movie is like her teaming up with his wife and then a different mistress to basically take down, you know, the cheating scumbag. So as Drea was pointing out, towards the end, like he ends up finding out that they're all in cahoots together. Because they basically end up like stealing all his money.
Yeah. And like, I liked it for the most part until the end. And then the ending, I was just like, okay, this just turned from like believable movie to like really far-fetched, like over the top. And I was like, all right, I'm over it. So that's the only reason I didn't really love it, but it was okay. It was entertaining.
I mean, I like it because I enjoy rewatching it.
Sure.
Like my list is kind of more so dependent on rewatchability.
Sure. That's how my TV shows list was.
So what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Legally Blonde.
Okay, fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Like go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm not sure this needs a synopsis because if you haven't seen Legally Blonde, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Legally Blonde, like who are you even? It's, I think, arguably Reese Witherspoon's best movie she's ever made.
Right.
Like, it is just, talk about rewatchability factor. Like this one's just like throw it on. Like even, I think you and me like rewatched it like 2 times while we were in Mexico. Like we were like, throw it on. Like it's just so good. It's your classic like rom-com movie. Feel good. Amazing.
Yeah.
What's your number 1?
10 Things I Hate About You.
I've never seen it.
You know what? Maybe that's what I'm going to assign you to watch.
Okay. Wait, no. Oh, yeah, it is. Wait, no. Wait, yeah, it is. Sorry, I was like thinking if it was your turn or my turn to assign it, but it's yours.
Yeah, it's my turn. Anyway, so 10 Things I Hate About You, which is a very brief synopsis because, you know, I might make you watch it.
Okay.
It's actually based off a Shakespearean play.
Okay.
Based off The Taming of the Shrew. So like there's, you know, that like extra element. It has a really superb cast. So we have Heath Ledger, we have Julia Stiles, we have your boy Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Love.
So like those are like the main trio of like super famous people, I feel. Well, actually, Gabrielle Union is in there.
Random.
Yeah, but it's a really good solid 90s teen movie rom-com, and I really enjoy rewatching. Like I actually had it on while I was cleaning my room in December.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. All the characters are really funny. There's a lot of really good hijinks, and the end makes you smile. And actually, like the last scene or the second to last scene in the movie, like that's really popular. Like you saw, like back in the day, you saw it floating around Tumblr all the time.
I mean, I definitely am open to watching it, especially with that cast list. I like a lot of them. Mm-hmm. So don't ruin it for me because I will be open to watching that.
Yeah. So that was my top choice because I love rewatching that. It's actually one of the first movies I think I bought off of iTunes, to be honest. Anyway,
amazing.
So what's your top 1?
Well, you should guess. My top 1 is The Proposal. The Proposal is the all-time best rom-com for me because 1, it has my girl Sandra Bullock, who I love.
Right.
2, it has my boy Ryan Reynolds, who I love. 3, it has Betty White, who I love.
Right.
4, it has what's her face, the iconic mom in every single movie you'll ever watch that I love. What's her name?
Oh, I don't know what her name is.
The mom in the movie. You know who it is. She's the mom in every single movie.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. She's cool.
Also, like, just every single actor that's in that. Like, I can keep going. Like, the dad, like Mr. Incredible or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
The Ramon, like the guy from The Office.
Right.
Like, he's amazing. The girl from 27 Dresses. That's another really good one.
It is. It's an honorable mention for the both of us, I think.
Yeah, definitely. The girl from That's in it. Like, everyone in this freaking movie is just so funny. And like, I feel like this is one of my most quotable movies of all time. Rewatchability, I can put it on at any time in my life and just love it. It's just, for me, this is the all-time best like movie. I'll give a super short synopsis because if you haven't watched it by this point, what are you doing with your life?
Right.
Long story short, it follows Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds. Sandra Bullock is a book editor and Ryan Reynolds is her assistant. And Sandra Bullock is Canadian and she's going to be deported out of the country. And her solution to not be deported is she's forcing Ryan Reynolds' character to marry her for like a green card wedding. And so the whole movie is like, the proposal is like they're getting married, but they're duping everyone so that like they don't know it's a green card marriage.
And we should say it's in exchange for her making him a book editor.
Correct.
Because that's the only reason why he's agreeing,
willing.
because she's known to be not nice.
Exactly. Yeah, it is just phenomenal. It is so hilarious.
The chanting scene with Betty White is the funniest thing. One of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Oh my God. The chanting scene with Betty White, like the strip club scene, like the exotic dancing scene is amazing.
Oh,
just the whole movie, like the entire movie, like the part when they run into each other naked in the bedroom on accident. The whole thing is amazing. Like every single scene is iconic. Watch it.
Well, I mean, you know, Ryan Reynolds is like a genius with comedy, so.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really funny.
But anyways, yeah, let's have a few honorable mentions and then let's wrap it up. I think for the both of us, we've mentioned 27 Dresses. Do you have any other ones, Alex?
Not off the top of my head, no. But yeah, 27 Dresses is, you know, pretty up there. I actually really like, and I don't think that I made you watch it, but Think Like a Man is really funny.
For sure. You have made me watch that when we were in college.
Yeah.
For me, an honorable mention is She's the Man.
Oh yeah, sure.
That's a good one. And then also, this is a movie that's like kind of less popular. It's called No Reservations. It's with Catherine Zeta-Jones. Yeah.
Yeah,
that one's a good one.
I like that one quite a bit. Is that a comedy, really?
That's debatable, I suppose.
I mean, it's a good movie. Yeah. I'm not going to dispute that. It's a good movie, but I'm just kind of like with the situation on the kid and whatever. I mean, I'm just like, this is comedy.
You're right. Like the overarching theme is kind of sad, but at the same time, what would you put it as a genre?
I mean, like maybe a romance drama. But maybe it is romantic. Let me look it up. No Reservations.
It's gonna be like restaurants.
Yeah, romance drama.
All right,
good,
fair.
Though. That's fine.
If you want a romance drama, watch No Reservations.
It's good.
All right. Well, let's wrap up the pod, Alex. Thanks for joining us today, guys. Next week, we have an interview lined up with the mentioned Paulette, aka Baby. So make sure you tune in next week to hear all about Paulette's life.
Talk to you next time.
Bye.